Vicenza Military Community's information exchange known as InfoX. InfoX is streamed live on the World Wide Web from livestream.com/AFN Europe. Viewers may address questions to this forum by going to the Vicenza Military Community Facebook page at VMC Italy. Viewers can also reach our Facebook page from the Garrison homepage. As always, everyone in the Vicenza Military Community is invited to attend here in person at the arena on Caserma, Italy. And for those of us here in the arena, just a reminder to please use the microphones provided during our program so our broader audience can also hear your questions and comments. And please note that in this forum we do not address personal matters of a legal or medical nature, issues that can be addressed through your chain of command, or issues submitted using inflammatory or derogatory language. And with that, we'll begin with a welcome from the Garrison Commander, Colonel Robert Minnist.
All right, good morning, everybody. Everyone that's here in the arena with us live and in person. Looks like we got a full house here today. And for everyone that's watching us streaming or watches us later, greetings to you as well. Thank you, sir, for joining us today, and Command Sergeant Major as well. We've got lots of great topics to talk about, some fairly important ones concerning force protection and some of the changes that we've been going throughout the entire footprint here to ensure that our families, our soldiers, and everyone that works, lives, plays, and has contact with the base is safe and secure to the best of our ability. So we're going to talk about some of the specifics of that as we go through this. So I'll ask you to pay particular attention to that. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started.
Thank you, sir. First up, February is Black History Month, so we'll have Sergeant First Class Thomas Washington come up and cut the cake and tell us about some of the observance opportunities in the Vicenza military community.
Good morning. I'm Sergeant Washington, as already stated, the Garrison EO Advisor. February is Black History Month, and we're going to be observing our main event on the 18th of February at the Golden Lion at 15:30. At this time, I'm also still looking for volunteers that are interested in cooking. If you're interested, my contact information is up there posted, and feel free to contact me at any time if you're interested in doing that. The theme for this year is a century of Black life, history, and culture. I'm going to go ahead and read a press release from the Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute. Over the past century, African American life, history, and culture have become major forces in the United States and the world. In 1915, few could have imagined that African Americans in music, art, and literature would become appreciated by the global community. Fewer still could have predicted the prominence achieved by African Americans as well as other people of African descent in shaping world politics, war, and diplomacy. Indeed, it was nearly universally believed that Africans and people of African descent had played no role in the unfolding of history and were a threat to American civilization itself. A century later, few can deny the centrality of African Americans in the making of American history. This transformation is the result of effort, not chance. Confident that their struggles mattered in human history, Black scholars, artists, athletes, and leaders self-consciously used their talents to change how the world viewed African Americans. The new Negro of the post-World War I era made modernity their own and gave the world a cornucopia of cultural gifts, including jazz, poetry based on the Black vernacular, and appreciation of African art. African American athletes dominated individual and team sports, transforming baseball, track and field, football, boxing, and basketball. In a wave of social movements, African American activism transformed race relations, challenged American foreign policy, and became the American conscience on human rights. At the dawn of these strivings and at all points along the road, the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, now the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, ASALH, has played a vital role. When he founded the association in 1915, Carter G. Woodson labored under the belief that historical truth would crush falsehoods and usher in a new era of equality, opportunity, and racial democracy, and it has been its charge for a century. In honor of this milestone, ASALH has selected A Century of Black Life, History, and Culture as the 2015 National Black History theme. At this time, we're going to go ahead and have a cake-cutting ceremony to kick off the month.
I'm telling you, who's certified that carrying that mic?
So Don Busbus probably would not have been happy with that, but since he has left us and is no longer he's gone back to the States, our new safety officer will probably give me some counseling afterwards on that. And then before we continue on with this, I do want to remind everyone, if you're watching online, either streaming or otherwise, feel free to post comments on our Facebook page. There's a little section right there that says post your comments here or your questions here. So feel free to participate, even if you're watching streaming from your office or at home or elsewhere in the world, and we'll periodically check in to see what's been posted there. Okay, so please continue.
Okay, sir. First, we have 6 hot topics to discuss this morning. First up, we have the principal of the Vicenza Middle School, Ms. Stephanie El Sayed, and Mr. Vantony Robinson, the Vicenza School Transportation Officer, to discuss the Dodge school bus policy.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Yes, my name is Tony Robinson. I'm with the Dodge School Bus Office. I'm here to discuss transportation and behavior standards on the school buses. I'd like to inform everyone that the time spent on the bus is considered an extension of the school campus. Therefore, any behavior issues that we have on the bus, they're referred to the principal for their actions. They go through, they investigate the issue, and they figure out the best plan of action to correct the issue. Now, with discipline, there's a list of responsibilities. The students have a responsibility to comply with all the behavior standards that are set forth by the school and by the Dodge Bus Office. And parents are to ensure that their students are aware of those issues, of those responsibilities, and that they have a copy of the rules and how they should behave on the bus. If you go to slide. Now with these behavior standards, it all boils down to respect. If the students respect their fellow students and the adults and the one on the bus, we should have no issues with behavior. All right. And the last slide, please. Okay, no, we also want to let the community know that bus riding is a privilege, and it couldn't be suspended or revoked. So we urge that the students, do the right thing to maintain their ridership.
Okay, I just want to highlight a couple things on that. It was about this time last year that we started to see a few discipline problems on the school buses with children acting out. They sort of gotten confident in themselves, and school year was, fast coming to an end, and so they got a little rowdy on the buses, and there was a lot of concern from parents, and there was a lot of Facebook discussion back and forth about what could be done about that, so we're trying to head that off now. So please, parents, encourage you to discuss with your children the importance of behavior wherever they are, whether it's on the bus, at the library, in school, elsewhere. And then if there is a problem, if your child comes to you and says, hey, something happened on the bus and it wasn't appropriate, then make sure you go to the right person to talk to. It's initially with the school principals, and if they can't figure something out or they can't resolve it, then the assistant superintendent and so on up the Dodge chain of command that can help resolve that issue with the parents and the children. The school bus monitor, the monitor that's on that bus, I just want to highlight, that's not a monitor of the children. Those are the monitors that are looking out for force protection. So they're part of the security effort to make sure that no one is actively collecting or trying to, mess with our school bus system, not for the internal monitoring of the children. Okay, so to talk to or lodge a complaint or file a grievance against another child, that school bus monitor is for looking out and observing, around what's going on in terms of force protection. Okay, so I just want to highlight that piece because that's sometimes a point of confusion for parents. Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, sir. Next up, we have the DPTMS Anti-Terrorism Officer, Ted Warden. He's going to talk to us a little about AT awareness and traveling in Europe.
Did you like that lead-in for you there, Ted? That was pretty smooth. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. First off, to begin the information I have to put out, we'll establish a ground rule here. It's difficult to talk about anti-terrorism without having the conversation sound like it's doom and gloom. It's just not that way. It's about protecting people. It's about protecting you and keeping the military community members safe. So, having said that, we're living in a different world today. A different world from 3 years ago, even a different world from 3 weeks ago. So staying apprised and informed of the situation is paramount in your day-to-day activities. You need to know what's going on around you in order to maintain awareness. Traveling safely here in Europe is another piece of this information I have here. Traveling safely anywhere, not only here in Europe, is basically about 3 premises. It's making prudent decisions, being informed, and being prepared. And like I said, awareness is paramount in this endeavor. If you're traveling by car, and Major Mumphrey will touch on this a little bit later, one of the hot topics around is, did you know, or do you know, that your CTAF driver's license is only good here and in Germany? For instance, if you travel up through Austria, you could get some pain should you be detained by the police, have them check your driver's license. You stand a chance of fines, possible impoundment of car, things like that. So check those things out as well. How about if you have a security clearance? Most of us do. And there are requirements that may be necessary for the approval of any travel that you may want to take if you have those type of security clearances, as well as reporting that foreign travel to your security manager or security personnel. Before you depart, what you should do, actually must do in order to have a safe trip, what restrictions are out there, or the places you're going to or traveling to, the cautions that may be in effect, the warnings that are possibly in effect. Nice to know information, sights to see, local customs, do's and don'ts are on the State Department travel webpage, www.state/travel or .gov/travel. The registry program that formerly was called Traveler Register is now being called the STEP program, Smart Traveler Enrollment. I took a look at that last night and earlier this morning. It's got some exceptionally good information on it, very informative about where you're going, what to do, customs, things like that, that will make you have a safe and enjoyable trip. It's also got entry requirements to the countries that you may visit, passport information, visa, the length of stay authorized, things like that. Next up, check with your anti-terrorism officer at your unit location, or give us a call, email at our office here in Building 109. We'd be happy to talk with you and furnish any kind of information that you might need. We keep abreast of many, many countries, what's going on in Europe, in the theater, and we have access to many more locations should you decide to travel outside of Europe. Prepare and provide a travel itinerary and give it to someone that you trust. It's nice to know where you are and have that person that cares about you or your friend that if you don't happen to make it back on time, they're going to be alarmed and alerted. So we need to check this out and find out what's happened to Bob and Mary on their trip over to England. And they went by car. They took a ferry across, things like that. So it's good to know that information, names, phone numbers, hotels, all that sort of stuff. Get the emergency contact information for wherever it is you're traveling to. Not only here in Italy, but Germany, France, Spain, into the Balkans, Croatia, things like that. Know what's going on there, know who to contact and how to contact them. Medical, police, roadside assistance. ACI, the Automobile Club of Italy, and ADAC, for instance, in Germany, the Automobile Club there, have reciprocal agreements They can assist you in any European Union nation with what you may need to help get out of a situation where you've had some kind of vehicle problem or trouble, should you be traveling by car. While you're traveling, in fact, just before you leave, come by and see us and we'll give you an awareness brief, personalized, one-on-one, to let you know what's going on and give you any tips that we may be able to provide at that time. While you're traveling, be situationally and local condition aware. Know what's going on there. Also, keep in mind, remember who you are, where you are, and who you represent. You represent the United States of America, and we don't want people to think that we're anything but the people that we are, the helping, responsive, that sort of thing. You'll hear this many, many times on AFN, radio, TV, in Stars and Stripes, in briefings. Keep a low profile. Don't stand out. And no military uniforms. I think Colonel Menace will mention something about that in a few minutes. Avoid large crowds, gatherings, spontaneous events. Most European countries and the people in the countries are passionate about their politics and about their religions. That might very well be two subjects that you want to avoid in conversation and giving your opinions. Know your route, have a plan. Travel informed and travel safe. Sir?
All right, so thanks, Ted. I appreciate that. And as you mentioned, it's been out for quite a few weeks now about the new uniform policy. We ask all leaders at all levels, civilian and military, to help enforce that and inform our soldiers. There's still folks that either haven't gotten the word or have decided that somehow it doesn't apply to them. Well, let me tell you, it does apply to them unless the man sitting next to me has approved your ability to wear that uniform off post, because the General Officer for Force Protection is the approval authority for those activities that would require you to wear your uniform off post at this time. Now, this does not include training exercises where you're out at a specific training area as a unit doing training, but for all other purposes it does. So there's no more stops at the gas station, there's no more shops at the supermarket on your way home if you're in uniform. If you need to make one of those stops, change into civilian clothes. If you're staying at a hotel and you're going TDY to someplace and you're staying at that hotel in Europe, before you go down and eat breakfast in the hotel lobby, put on your civilian clothes, eat breakfast, then go up, change into your uniform, go directly to your post, wherever it is you're doing your TDY duties at. So help us all be a part of that low profile. Also on the security piece, we've done just to kind of help alleviate some concerns. We've been doing a lot of close coordination with the local Italian officials, both the prefect of Vicenza and the questore, who's the chief of police, for some increased surveillance and security of our school buses, because obviously that's a fairly visible piece of America that is traveling to and from on a very routine basis and a very predictable basis. So I don't want to go into the measures that we've put into place, because we don't want to tip our hand, but rest assured we are working very close with them, and we've got some very good initiatives going on that have just started last week. So I'm very happy to have that in coordination with Dodds for putting those measures into effect. Okay. All right, so with that, we'll hand it over to Major Mumphrey for driving in Europe, I think. Licensing in Europe. Yes.
Good morning, all. As Colonel said, I'm Major Mumphrey. I'm the Garrison Director of Emergency Services / Provost Marshal. This morning I'm going to address with you some misconceptions here in Italy as well as up in Germany when it comes to licensing. As Ted Warden stated, your Armed Forces Italy driver's license is only good for you to drive within Italy, nowhere else. Same with your certificate of license if you're stationed in Germany. It's only good in Germany, and same as the Benelux. It's only good there. You are required to have an international driver's license to drive outside those countries. But I will touch on that as I get to my next slide. Currently, there's a misconception about, or there's a problem right now in Germany, where Americans are driving around with expired stateside licenses. That nullifies your certificate of license for use or your Armed Forces Italy driver's license. You have to drive with a valid stateside license. States that put on their licenses, exception, military, 90 days, 6 months, whatever it may be, that doesn't pertain overseas. That only pertains if you're CONUS, okay? USERA has put together on their webpage, which was on the previous slide, there's a link in the middle of the page, which will bring you to the United States Army Europe Office of the Provost Marshal page. It has, at the bottom you can see 4 what looks like state license plates. Those are scroll downs for the state where your license was last issued. It will bring you to the information for that state and provide you with the guidance you need in order to renew your license. Some states, not all, offer the opportunity to renew your driver's license online. I renewed my Texas State driver's license online one time for $35, had it in 3 weeks. So again, it goes back to your planning. You have to know when your license is going to expire, and that way do it. Don't worry about the photo. They generally keep your photo online from your previous shot, so they'll use that same photo on your next license. So again, driving outside of Europe or outside of Italy on your Armed Forces Italy license is a no-go. You can't do that. You have to have a valid stateside license. If you're married to an Italian national or a German national and you're stationed in Germany, your spouse has a country license for the country she resides in, that will work in conjunction with your CTAF or USERA certificate of license. That's valid form, okay? Slide, please. Now we get into the international licenses, as I've stated already a couple times. Driving outside of Italy, driving outside of Germany, you have to have an international license. You can get them through AAA, or as you see, I've posted several links on the middle of the slide. I obtained one when I first arrived in Italy. It cost me about $60. A company that has offices in Miami and in Toronto, Canada. It's valid throughout the world. It was good for 1 year. There are many opportunities like that that you can find them online. For those that are stationed in Germany, they can go to their local provost marshal office, get a documentation, and go to the local Führerscheinsamt. They will then print them the international driver's license booklet, which is good for 3 years as an international license. The Italians don't offer that opportunity to us. So what opportunity do you have? Yes, you can obtain an Italian international license. It's costly. Or you can obtain an international or a European Union driver's license from Italy, which is valid for 10 years. It is also costly. It requires you to get a medical examination from an Italian physician, not an on-post physician. You then have to go down to ACI, the Automobile Club of Italy, over in Vicenza, Veste. Go in, you give them your CTAF license, the medical waiver, you do a eye screening at that location, and for a cost of about €200 and about 6 weeks waiting time, you'll have your Italian driver's license, which is good European Union-wide as an international license. So those are pretty much your options right now. Again, it can be costly in other countries that you drive and you don't have an international license. A friend of mine was pulled over in France for speeding. He did not have an international license. The gendarmerie took him to an ATM, and for €500 they let him go. You have to make the decision. If you have any questions on how to obtain an Italian license, you can contact Patrick O'Connor at Vehicle Registration over on Torrey, or myself, and we'll get you the proper documentation, the points of contact, and the rules, the process of getting your license. If you have any further questions, you can get with me afterwards.
So I'm gonna jump on the question
Go for
real
it.
quick. So great for those that are in the states of Texas and other places to do, but what about our soldiers? What can we do, or what are we working to do to take care of those that must in person get a new driver's license? Is anybody working that in Germany or with you sort of don't?
So Major, that's not one of the issues the Department of State is working. It's on that individual to make sure that they know when their license is expiring, and they'll have to take a trip back to the States and get a new license with that state.
Yeah, the other piece of that is make sure we advertise and put on our newcomers brief, and ACS, I think, Julie, I saw you in here, make sure we publicize that. Before you come over here, make sure your stateside license is current for your time, and before you come over here. And I think also the piece of the, if you could get an Italian license, you could get, which would then cover you as a valid driver's license here, even if your U.S. license had expired, correct?
Correct, sir.
You could get correct me on this now, on what if you had an international license, you'd gone and gotten one of the international license from USAA, and you had that along with your CTAF, would that?
No, sir, that does not
That doesn't,
suffice.
that doesn't suffice. So you have to get an Italian license?
Or have a valid stateside or
Valid stateside.
territorial license from within the United States.
Okay.
I just think there's confusion. What do we, so, am I the only one confused or anybody else confused? So when we say valid, for instance, I'm from the great state of Alaska, is where my license is from. It never expires. I've got a little thing that says, hey, this is renewed, it's good. Okay, so, but the license says that it expired in 2001. So is it expired or valid? Because there's a difference, because it's a valid state license, which I can get an international license in America with it, but what we're saying is in Germany, or other words, it's not authorized.
Correct, sir.
So it's not a valid, it's whether the license says it's expired or not.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
It's whether or not it says it's expired. If the date has passed, regardless of if there's a military exception on it, the European Union does not recognize that as a valid driver's license. So it negates your certificate of license from USERA or your Armed Forces Italy license. It negates it.
Okay, so we'll get some more information out on that and try to press out to everyone back home before they head. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a question there, yeah.
Question. There used to be a resource on Tuesday mornings where you could get your international driver's license on post. Is that no longer available?
Right, you're talking about across from the mobile phone center inside the PX, there is a lady that comes in. She'll help you start the paperwork process. It's Tuesday mornings, I believe 11:30 to 12:30, and it's right inside the first kiosk as you walk in, where the AFIS has their little kiosk. There, she sits in there, and she'll help you with the paperwork. But that's only to get you started and provide you the information. She won't take the information and go to ACHI for you. You still have to go down there. Good question, thank you.
Okay, next topic.
Okay, next up we'll talk to, or he'll come and talk to us, rather. Mr. Bernie Cruz from the Department of Public Works will update us on some recently completed or forecasted projects going on in the Vicenza military community.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This morning, yes, I'd like to talk with you about two projects, two items we're handling in the DPW. The first one is the main access road for Del Din, the Viale Ferrarin. And in March, we have a project that's going to kick off there. And if you're looking at the slide, basically, if you see the area shown in red and yellow on the map, that's going to be the impacted area, which of course is the main drive into Del Din. And what we'll be doing is basically widening the road, installing bike paths, also putting in sidewalks. And the anticipated time frame for the project is approximately 120 days. And again, it's supposed to kick off at the beginning of March. In anticipation of some potential traffic concerns, another thing that's going to be done is if you're looking at the map, and you see the purple line up there, that's the southeast access for Del Din, which is that route is normally closed, but what's planning to be done is that'll be open during the main traffic time in the afternoon from 16 to 1800 to provide an additional egress to address some of the traffic concerns there. Okay, and the second item, of course,
let me just talk on that one, so because this is a good news story. This is a good thing, so we got to get more excited about this because we're going to have a bike path, we're going to have a sidewalk. That entire road has been a danger zone since I got here a year and a half ago, and I made it one of my missions. We're going to improve this road. We're going to put lights up. We're going to get a bike path so people can bike to work safely. We're going to get a pedestrian walkway so all those soldiers walking in and out in the middle of the night, they can walk on a sidewalk instead of on the road when all the drunk drivers are coming down. So this is a good thing, and we're going to have good lights that work because we couldn't get the city to turn on the lights for us. So this is a great thing. Now, we're going to need your patience for about 4 months because during that 4 months of construction, it's going to be a little bit of a pain. But it's going to be a great thing when it's done. No more potholes. It's going to be safe. Everyone get to work. So it's a good thing. But work with us. Think about carpooling during those 4 months. I know 173rd is going to do their part, and they've got all these deployments going all over the place just to make sure that they're not going to be there when this is going on. So thank you, 173rd. They're on the team. They're going to help make this easier for everyone. So, sir, I was going to talk to you later about that, too, about sending some more folks from the Seraph out there. But do your part. And if you normally go out for lunch and then come back, think about maybe bringing your lunch in for this time, or eating at one of our AFES concessionaire stands, or at our DFAC. I was going there, Sergeant Major. I was saving the best for last. All right. So there's a lot of great things, but again, we need some patience for that 4 months while we're doing it. Work with us, and we're going to have a little drill of it on the 26th, where we're going to practice that exit route. So everyone that's on Dell Din on the 26th, you're going to get to go out the new exit gate for this time period during the rush hour traffic. So because it'll only be one-way traffic on that road as they're putting construction on it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So that's good.
Okay.
Next one.
To follow up with that good news, basically, Villaggio, the power outages that's been causing a lot of discomfort over in Villaggio. The good news here is the cause has been resolved. There was a project ongoing that's finished, and so basically we don't anticipate that to continue what's been occurring. Now, just briefly, the why did it occur? Basically, the substation at Villaggio had to be brought up to current standard and Italian law, and during that period that was being worked on, we experienced some outages, power outages from the utility company. And while the station was being worked on, normally the station would come back up automatically, the power, and it would be pretty transparent to the folks living there. But during the phase to bring it up to standard, the station wasn't able to do that, so we had to bring it back up manually. But once again, the good news is the project is done. Everything's working automatically again, so we don't anticipate what had occurred to continue at Villaggio.
Okay, so my version, it's all done. We're all fixed, so it's going to be better. I know. It was a pain for a lot of folks. I live out there, too, so I went through the pain, and so did a lot of people here sitting at the front table.
No coffee.
No coffee, yes, I know. We had to go out and do snowball fights instead of staying inside the house. I know, it's horrible. But, again, that's just part of our compliance, being good neighbors, Italian community. We got the Italian laws we have to follow as well. Had to bring that substation out so they could have access, and again, the improvements. And while that was happening, we were sort of more susceptible to power outages and losses. But it's all fixed, all done. Last Saturday was the last scheduled outage for that. All working smoothly as far as we know. So, good thing. Thanks, Brent.
Okay, sir.
All right, what's next, Paul?
Yes. Good morning. I'm Dr. McKenzie. I'm the Deputy Commander for Clinical Services at the Health Center. I'm sitting in today for my boss, Colonel Barr, who's out of town. I just have a few pertinent topics to discuss with the community today. Next slide, please. Okay, first, Relay Health. What this is a new program that connects docs or the treatment team with patients in the community. So many of you have already signed up. It's an opportunity for you to schedule appointments, get lab results, maybe get refills on medications, and you can do this online. So this is a secure network that allows the doctor or your treatment team, nurses, etc., to speak directly back and forth with patients. Normally you can't send private health information on Outlook or Google or Yahoo because we're violating rules and regulations. But this is a secure network that lets you communicate with your docs. So how do you get signed up? Well, this is also for non-urgent matters. So if you're having chest pain, don't email your doc saying you're having chest pain, because it takes about 72 hours to turn these things around, okay? But for non-urgent matters, scheduling appointments, lab results, refills for your meds, things like that. So it's a great system. It's checked by our providers every day in the health center. So you'll send an email saying, hey, I need a refill on my whatever, and within 72 hours you'll have a nurse or somebody from that provider team calling you and saying, hey, your refill's in there, pick it up. So it's convenient. Calling the call center saying, hey, I need a new appointment, but you can do this electronically from your handhelds, gadgets, things like that. We're trying to get up to speed with the 21st century and everything being wireless. So if you want to sign up for this, Relay Health's real easy to do. Next time you're at an appointment with your doc at the health center, just say, I'm interested in signing up for Relay Health. Or you can come over, you can go to the U.S. Army Health Center Vicenza website and download the Relay Health sign-up form. Or I'm going to have some blank forms up here in front, and I'll wait around after the InfoX to give these to you. Key thing is you fill out the information, you give it to me or one of the folks in the health center, they create an account for you, but here's the glitch. Within 72 hours, you guys have to log into the website and you have to accept the invitation. So if you don't do that, it's just gonna get buried under, you know, consecutive emails and get lost and forgotten about. So we have to enroll you, send you an invite, you have to accept that, and then you guys are good to go. Any questions about Relay Health? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so relocation updates. So since closing down the birthing center in July of last year, we've been busy repurposing a lot of the square footage in the health center. So for those of you that are looking for extra space, I want to just put this out there that we've identified people to move into all the square footage. So many of you know dermatology has already moved upstairs on the second floor. Got a big clinic in there. Dr. Maddox is busy helping folks here in the community. So that's located where OB-GYN used to be. With him is the public health nurse and the public health team, as well as our dietitian. So if you're looking for those services, they're no longer downstairs in primary care. They're at the second floor, up the stairway to your right, where OB-GYN used to be. Also, we moved the wellness center over there. So moved from the second floor of the gymnasium over to the health center. So again, top of the stairs, take a right and work your way around that corridor. You'll find the wellness center there and the wellness center team, as well as dermatology, public health are going to be right there. Currently, the Public Health Command is also busy moving boxes across the street and occupying what used to be the labor and delivery deck, so that's a good thing. You may have heard rumors that we are actually taking steps to move the veterinary clinic in Lungari actually into the health center, and that is true. We've had the Corps of Engineers walk through there, so there's just a number of steps to get this done. We have to actually move the lab out of the first floor, get them upstairs, and then we're going to go ahead and refit that space. We're going to move the veterinary clinic from Lungari into the health center. So it's be one-stop shopping for those of you seeking health care for you and your dog or cat. Another feel-good story. Another feel-good story.
Yes, I like it, Bob.
Thank you,
I like it.
Rob. Thank you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I think I have the flu. So if you guys think there's a lot of people sick in this community, you are right. We have the second highest incidence of flu-like illness in Europe. All right, so we're tracking this here. So if you think you know a lot of people that are sick, a lot of kids are out of school, absolutely true. Okay, so because that's such a pertinent health concern, I just wanted to go over some topics real quick. Even though we've had a very robust immunization campaign here in the community, still a lot of folks getting sick. In January alone, we actually had the docs order 100 rapid influenza tests, and which is, you know, unusual number, right? 40 of those came back positive, so we have a lot of flu-like illness in our community. So there's a lot of it around. We're hitting the second peak of this. Usually the first couple of weeks of January, we kind of hit a peak in Europe to include Vicenza, and then the second 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of January, there's kind of a little bit of a lull. People are staying home, I think, and doing self-care. And then about the first 2 weeks of February, right now, get another peak, so increased incidence of flu-like illness, and we're seeing that every day. If you've been in the pediatrics clinic, primary care clinic, you're seeing that. In general, if you're a healthy individual without any kind of comorbidities, you're going to do okay. You're going to have a fever, maybe a headache, sore throat, cough, and you're going to feel run down and kind of have muscle aches. And within 5 to 7 days, you should start getting symptom relief. And by the end of about 2 weeks, you should be back to your fighting strength, 100% recovered. But there are certain populations that are higher risk. So if you're under 2 years old, if you're an infant, right, and you have a fever and headache and flu-like illness, we need to see you. We need to call for an appointment. We want to lay eyes on your children, right? Make sure everything's okay. Or if you're over 65 years old, or if you have comorbidities. So you have known asthma, chronic kidney conditions, congestive heart failure, some of these other things, because flu-like illness and populations with comorbidity, they can get sicker, they can stay sicker longer, and they have other complications like pneumonia and things like that. So we want to have docs lay eyes on you if at all possible if you're in those populations. How's the influenza spread? Unlike Ebola, didn't want to go there, but anyway. So this is droplet precautions. So what this means is that if you're around a sick person and they cough or they sneeze or they're talking and you get droplets, particulate matter coming out of their mouth, and it goes in your nose or eyes, they can transmit the virus, right? Or if they're coughing on a surface like a phone or a computer at the library or the handrails or the button on the elevator or any kind of common thing we're all going to be touching, right? Like going through any of the areas here on post, That live virus can live outside a host 2 to 8 hours. So in the health center, we're constantly wiping things down using cavi wipes. We're washing our hands lots. You can use just soap and water to do that, or any kind of alcohol-based preparation. So general health preparation, you want to make sure you cover your cough, you're washing your hands a lot, and you're wiping down areas. Because the virus only lives outside of a host for 2 to 8 hours, they don't have to shut down the schools or anything like that. You turn off the lights overnight, and the flu-like virus dies. The next day, we open up for business all of the PX and the DFACs and those kinds of things. Any questions about the flu? Great. Last thing, I don't have a slide for this, but February is also Women's Healthy Heart Month, so I want to do a shout out for that. So on the 6th of February, actually the preventive health team from Vicenza Health Center is going to be in front of the PX. So February 6th is actually National Wear Red Day. So our team will be over in front of the BX on Wear Red Day on Women's Healthy Heart Month. And we're going to be over there doing cardiac health screening. So we're going to be doing checking blood pressures, also offering cholesterol screening, also hooking you up with the dietitians or the wellness center if individuals want that. So even though it's Women's Healthy Heart Month, don't want to exclude the guys. There's a lot of them on this in our community. So if you guys are going to get healthy heart screening, ladies and your friends, if you bring your guys with you or your male friends with you, they can come and we will check their blood pressure and screen their cholesterol and hook them up with the dietitian and the wellness center. So Wear Red Day on the 6th, 10 to 11:30. Any questions? That's all I have.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, sir, next we have Captain Scott McIntosh to talk to us about the Vicenza Tax Center.
Good morning. I'm Scott McIntosh. I'm an attorney in the JAG office and the OIC of our tax center. Ben Franklin's on record as saying there are only two things that are certain in this life, death and taxes. He's correct yet again this year. Albert Einstein also said that the hardest thing in the world to understand is the income tax code. So if you're like this kid, then I'm here to remind you that before you try to do your own taxes, you should remember the grades that you got in math class. We have a fantastic team of IRS certified tax professionals at the Vicenza Tax Center who are ready and prepared to assist you with your tax preparation needs. You've all got to pay taxes, but you don't have to leave a tip. So one reason that it's important to file with us rather than just trying to do it on your own is that our preparers aren't just certified in basic and advanced tax preparation, but they've also received specialized training in military and international tax matters. So they prepare returns only for folks in the Vicenza community. They're familiar with all the typical deductions and credits that folks here are likely eligible for, and are going to be working hard to ensure that you get as big a refund as you're entitled to. We've got two sites for the Vicenza Tax Center this year. Here on Ederly in Building 241, which is also the JAG office, you can receive tax preparation services Monday through Friday from 09 to 1600. We are open during the lunch hour, so we've only got a short window that you can come by. You can drop off your documents this afternoon during lunch, and good chance that the return's prepared by Friday. You can come back and sign it then. So remember, if you want to use that lunchtime for tax preparation, we are open during the lunch hour. We also have a satellite center at the Sigholt Center on Del Din. It's open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the same hours, 09 to 1600. So for soldiers and civilians who live or work on Del Din, take advantage of the convenience of that service also. We prepare most of our returns on a walk-in basis, so most folks won't need to schedule an appointment. You can just come by and see the next available preparer. But if you've got rental property or capital gains, or if you've itemized deductions in past years and think that you'll need to do that again this year, we encourage you to schedule an appointment in advance. So you can call our DSN 634-7316 to get an appointment. We have appointment availability 5 days a week this year. If you've been here in the past, we used to only have appointments 2 days a week, but we've expanded that also to make it more convenient for folks in the community. So whether you're preparing your return on a walk-in basis or at an appointment, please be sure to remember to bring your W-2 to the appointment, any 1098 or 1099s that you have for other sources of income or deductions. If you got your 2013 tax return handy, that's useful for us to look at also. If there's any additional questions I can answer about the tax centers here, I'm happy to. If not, you're welcome to get with me after the NLX.
Okay, great service and really another example of our community helping ourselves with both volunteers from both units and civilians doing the extra time to go to these classes and a skill that they may not have had before. So great effort all involved to take care of ourselves. And what'd you say, about $500,000 worth of fees that we saved? So that's $500,000 that our soldiers didn't have to spend last year that they saved and got to keep in their pockets because of this effort. So thanks.
Okay, sir, next up, we'd like to take a moment to recognize our outstanding volunteers for the months of December and January. I invite Ms. Yvonne Lively up to the microphone.
Good morning. The Vicenza Army Volunteer Corps is pleased to announce outstanding community volunteers for December 2014 and January 2015. The adult outstanding volunteer for December is Gabriella Reed. Who is nominated by the PTSA. Gabriella Reed has worked within the Vicenza community diligently supporting the PTSA. Today, she is being recognized for her recent work in planning and coordinating 2 major fundraisers. Gabriella served as the PTSA's Carnival chairperson, which helped them earn over $8,000 in profit and also made it the most successful one to date. In addition, Gabriella also served as a Box Top chairperson, which also raised an additional $1,200. Due to these dedicated efforts, deserving seniors will be awarded scholarships for their first year of college. As well, the PTSA has been able to fund teacher requests for all 3 of our Vicenza schools. Gabriella Reed is an essential part of the success of our wonderful PTSA. Thank you, Ms. Reed. The Youth Outstanding Volunteer for December is Mr. Kevin McCombs, nominated by the American Red Cross. Kevin has been a member of the American Red Cross of Vicenza High School, and he has made a big difference just within the first year of serving. He is being recognized for conducting the first interview here in Vicenza for the Library of Congress's Veteran History Project, and his active participation in fundraising for the Vaccinated Village Project, which aims to reduce deaths from measles in developing parts of the world. Kevin is a motivated and driven youth who actively participates in this community and motivates so many others to become involved as well. Congratulations, Kevin. Next, we're going to move on to recognizing our volunteers for January 2015. The adult outstanding volunteer for January is Mr. Raymond Jackson, nominated by the USO. Since the day Raymond Jackson started volunteering with the USO, he has taken the initiative with a whole range of volunteer tasks. Everything he has been a part of has been a success. During the recent USO holiday party, he volunteered more than 15 hours over 2 days to help create a memorable event for over 300 patrons. Due to his efforts, he's partially responsible for the USO's 45% increase in attendance. Raymond plays a critical role in making the center a welcoming place and ensuring soldiers and families feel at home. Raymond approaches everything with diligence, pride, and lots of heart. Congratulations, Raymond. The Youth Outstanding Volunteer for January is Roberta Ortega, nominated by the Exceptional Family Member Program. Roberto has been a committed volunteer with the Exceptional Family Member Program since January 2014. From behind-the-scenes work, such as updating documents and databases, also to preparing all of our wonderful information packets to families, he really shines when he is helping at events, such as the EFMP bowling. When he is helping the kids, he's positive and patient, and you can see the kids are having a wonderful time. No matter the project, he's creative and efficient, and he always shows up with a wonderfully positive attitude and dedication. Thank you, Roberto.
Is there another award to present at this time?
If not, we can make one up.
It's from you, sir.
All right. That's a great thing about live TV, right?
I'm sorry, I was told that you were presenting.
Okay. Are you helping with this? Present this? Okay.
Yep. Miss Silvio Girardi. She has presented a certificate for exemplary actions taken in the course of duties. She recognized a soldier experiencing medical distress. She made instantaneous decision to render aid, physically caught the soldier during loss of consciousness, preventing his impact with the floor. Without hesitation, she immediately rendered first aid, arranged emergency services called, and continued to provide aid until help arrived. Ms. Girardi's endless dedication answered the call for action and prevented a serious injury and instilled a positive impression on the community. Her selfless service and dedication reflect great credit upon herself, the Exchange, the United States Army Garrison Vicenza, and the United States Army. Signed, Colonel Minist. Sure, at this point in the program, we'll go across the table for additional community announcements for our service providers. Dodds? Nothing? Ms. Sereno, nothing? No. Major Mumfries? Command Sergeant Major? Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll skip to the end of the table. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dr. Caldwell, interim commander of the dental clinic here. Just wanted to let you know that February is Children's Dental Health Month. We're very excited about that. Within the next couple of weeks, the parents should receive consent forms at the elementary schools. We'll have our pediatric dentist as well as a few other dentists there at the schools performing dental screenings on the children. If any of the children are identified for future care, then we'll contact those families at that time. Also, we're very proud to submit to you that this is the highest wellness the dental clinic has ever had for the oral health of this community. So, and that's based upon the Class 1 and Class 2 ratings of all of our active duty soldiers. So every active duty soldier within our community should actually have an appointment and be scheduled for treatment if they have identified needs. At that point, we should be able to see more of our family members and get everyone else involved. So we're here to take care of you and all of those supporting the soldiers. Thank you.
Okay, sir, at this time, we're going to open up the microphone for community announcements. We ask that if you have community announcements, normally we have a microphone out there. We can come and use this microphone, and we just ask that you state your organizations and also, if you haven't yet, signed the board in the back so we can further get your message out through AFN. So at this point, we'll turn the microphone over to community announcements.
All right, while they get set up and signing over, keep moving up and starting your line there. Just had one comment here from the Facebook page about the noise during the Super Bowl party, and so we'll take a look at that. Talk with the USO in terms of mitigation for that next year. I know there are some excited fans out there at 3 in the morning, depending on which side of the Super Bowl you were on. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, Chaplain, looks like you're first.
Morning, Peter Ferris, Garrison Chaplain. Just 2 days away, the National Prayer Breakfast is on Friday at the Gold Line Conference Center. You may have heard of it. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing it. Whatever the case, there's a meal waiting for you and a blessing. Our Chief of Chaplains from the U.S. Army is going to be our guest speaker, second year in a row, It'll be his last time because he's retiring, so it's been the last time to get blessed from him. But see your chain of command or your unit ministry team, chaplain or chaplain assistant, for a ticket. I happen to have 4 on hand to give away for anyone in the room that would like one. Yeah, that's right. But if you find yourself without a ticket on Friday morning and a desire to come, just come. There'll be a seat at the table for you and a blessing. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Frances Jackson from the USO. For those of you that don't know what the USO does, our mission is to lift the spirits of the soldiers and their families, which is what we did on Super Bowl Sunday. We will take care of that, sir. I just want to make a quick announcement that we will be changing our hours to serve our patrons a little better. Right now, we're currently closed on Sundays, but we're going to go ahead and open up on Sundays for those that want to reach back to their families and make phone calls. We do offer free international calls, free internet, Wi-Fi. We play movies, and at 5 o'clock every night, we serve small bites. So we welcome anybody to come join. As long as you can get on post, you're welcome to come see us at the USO, and I encourage the leadership to come see us and share a meal with us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Staff Sergeant Williams from the BOSS program here in Vicenza. Just want to give a quick few announcements of what the BOSS program has coming up for you in the next few weeks. Our next Friday, we're celebrating Carnivale. In fact, this is an international BOSS event. We have BOSS programs coming from all over Europe down here. We'll be at the Warrior Zone doing a little carnival party with live music and costumes and all the fun things that go with Carnivale. And in March, we're doing a income-generating event over at the Delden Warrior Zone. We're going to be doing a St. Patrick's Day themed casino night. So invite everybody to come out, try your luck. All these events are open to the community. They're not just for the single soldiers. It's hosted by us, but it's everybody to come out and enjoy the fun. So I want to invite everybody out to the Delden Warrior Zone. If you guys have any questions, you can contact me at 637-2712. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lauren Doss, and I'm the publicity coordinator for the American Red Cross Vicenza. And I just wanted to highlight this month's public health and safety courses we're offering. This Saturday, we have a first aid AED CPR course. Wednesday, the 18th, we have a blended learning CPR course where you can do the first half online and then come in and take your skills test. February 21st, we have a pet first aid course for anyone who may want to learn pet first aid. And on the 28th, we have a CPR instructor course. So if you think you would like to volunteer your time teaching CPR courses, we can train you for that at our instructor course. I would also like to put something out towards March. March is Red Cross Month, and we're going to do a month-long series of events highlighting the services the Red Cross does and what the Red Cross does in our community. So please look forward to that. If you want any more information, please check out our Facebook page at arc.vicenza and come by our office here in Building 333 on Concern Adderley. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Kimball, and I want to introduce myself as the new Family Advocacy Program Victim Advocate. I am available with a 24-hour phone, 24/7-hour phone for domestic violence. The number that can be reached is 634-JUST, or the commercial line is 0444-71-JUST. I am located at the ACS building in room 112 on the second floor. I look forward to being in the community, raising domestic violence, and outreaching to all the different groups here on Vicenza. Thank you.
We only have the one comment on the Facebook, so if you've got a comment, put it in now, or a question, because I know it lags a little bit, so if you're going to get in before the end of the show, place your comments. But I think at this point we're ready for the open mic.
Yes, sir.
For questions from the crowd?
Not saying questions.
Questions, yes. Any questions from the group? So my planted question must have gotten cold feet and decided, oh, okay. All right. So if we don't have anything that, we'll go for our closing comments. Start, Mitchell.
just a couple things to add sort of for the force protection measures and thought from my foxhole is my belief is doom and gloom. So just so you guys know that. I always think there's someone watching us and someone, you know, actively reconning what is going on any military post. So I ask that you really take a critical look of what you're wearing off post. If it sort of depicts you as a military member, you should probably take it off, all right? Stickers on your car says U.S. Army or whatever, try to remove those as well, all right? So you're not a bigger target. The smaller the image that we give out there, the better off we're gonna be, all right? So that's point number one. Point number two is April, I know it's a couple months away, but in April there's gonna be a transition summit given through the Soldier for Life personnel, all right, Miss Overstreet. But the point or the lead on that is the OSD, IMCOM headquarters, and the Chamber of Commerce for hiring of Heroes Foundation. What we're really going to try to gear it towards is everybody in the community, not just the soldiers that are transitioning out, but the spouses and the civilian workforce and the soldiers. So what we're looking at and what we proposed up to the Hiring for Heroes Foundation is a LinkedIn form that provides guidance and information to assist participants understanding what their employer is going to use as LinkedIn, how employers use LinkedIn, the virtual readiness, interview readiness, top 5 resume tips for hiring from a manager perspective, spouse employment program, federal employment program, and Soldier for Life TAP 101. And really it's going to be, it's an informational summit is really what we're sort of gearing it towards. And you know, you hear a lot of other summits trying to bring in businesses and corporations and companies to sort of do a hiring forum. Well, the truth of the matter is we're trying to bring those folks in and bringing in our own companies and our own forums for a hiring summit. But really what they're doing is bringing an informational side of the house to really get our soldiers that are transitioning out of the Army so they are more marketable for those companies and corporations out there. So that's going to be the 22nd and 23rd. So the 22nd, the first day, is sort of bringing in all the leadership across our community to give them the idea of what Soldier for Life really is. And then day 2 is all the different forms to sort of give the information on how to be more marketable for the transition soldier. Well, that's all I got.
Thanks, Sergeant. And before we pause the next one, I've got another question from the web that we may be able to get the answer to before we finish out here, but if not, we'll get back to you. About the fingerprint at the security office, been broken for a couple of weeks. I didn't know that was so it's amazing what you learn here. So if one of my team can get back to me quickly on what the status is for that fix, slide me a note. If we don't get it in time for the end of this show, we'll get back to the person on Facebook directly and put out a little message community-wide that what our plans are for fixing that. So, okay, thanks. Command Sergeant Major.
Really just want to take a moment and give some shout outs. So to USO, thanks for the Super Bowl party. I know it was loud, which that means it was a good time. So we can't please everybody, and we also apologize for those that were disturbed by it. To MWR, I know they had a great function over at Del Din. Once again, another shout out to them. And then to the gym, MWR, of working with the command and the command sergeants majors to find out what worked best. And so that's why I like to hear about the USO changing their hours. It's about taking care of the soldiers that we really need to take care of. I'm personally going to look in to help with USER and find out about driver's license. I know I hope I'm not the only one that's in that boat. To find out, because there's a lot of people that when you get here and it's too late to get to another state, if it's like Alaska or if you're on the East Coast and there. So I will look into that and try to find out what we can do and get others to help. And then the last shout out is to the taxes. So I got to spend some time with the good captain yesterday. I thought I'd spend about 45 minutes to an hour with him. I spent about, I think, 7 minutes. So what I ask is if you make an appointment, which is a great way to do it, all you have to do is pre-fill out the information, you give it to them, so that takes about 7 minutes out of your time. You actually show up the day with your spouse if you're married, and all you have to do is review it and sign it. And I was in and out in no time whatsoever. And so I ask for everybody that you make an appointment, do it that way, and we'd probably get more people through it, and it was great, so I appreciate it, and my wife appreciates all the money that's coming back.
All right. Sir?
Sure. Well, happy 2015 for many of you. I know I haven't a chance to talk to many of you all. We missed a few of these, Sergeant Major and I, because of living in Liberia for a few months last year. But 2015, thank you for the spirit, teamwork, and sense of community that you continue to represent here in Vicenza. I've lived in a lot of communities. I've always lived on post in the few years I've been in the Army, and I will tell you this is one of the best communities. And so it's because of what all of you all do. You care about each other. You treat each other with dignity and respect. And I would ask you in 2015 that you do that. For some of you all that are coming new to the community, help each other out. You know, there is some, you know, Sergeant Major sort of mentioned, you know, we hope he isn't the other one. There is some soldier, there is some young family or some civilian out there who's struggling. This is their first post, and they're trying to figure it out. And having been to a lot of posts, they're all different, and they all have different pieces to them. So help them with coming to Vicenza and show them what you've done. I think that, you know, so personally for United States Army Africa, just a little, not too much. We've sort of reviewed in the last few weeks our way ahead. I'm just a tenant here like many of you all. But as you think about 2015, one of the enduring things that I'm trying to make sure that we do is treat each other with dignity and respect and be a trusted partner with each other. And then I'm trying to bring that and extrapolate that on to the continent of Africa. So what we will leave, our legacy in United States Army Africa over time will be, we'll start this in a big way next week. Sergeant Major and myself are headed to Senegal next week. And anybody know who General Odierno is? You know who he is, right? Chief Staff of the Army. So if you can imagine 36 of those, 36 General Odiernos in one place, that's what's going to take place on the continent of Africa. We have the honor and privilege of co-hosting this in Dakar, Senegal. So if you think about what I just mentioned, dignity and respect, and I'm bringing that forward, and think about those 36, 37 chiefs of staffs who now will have a better understanding about, you know, it was mentioned earlier about we represent, you know, we show up with this flag, we represent the United States. So next week, Sergeant Major and I will represent the United States with 36 other chiefs of staffs of Africa to think about the way ahead and how we partner on the continent of Africa. So we're not able to do that without the support you give us here in Vicenza. So, you know, when I come, this is home for me. And so when I go, because I travel a lot, we travel a lot. And when I go to Africa or the United States frequently or up to Stuttgart to see my boss, coming back home, this is home for me. So think about that in terms of, I know many of you all don't travel as much as Sergeant Major and I, but Vicenza, this is our home. And so Rob, the team here, thanks again for what you do. And think about 2015. I think that really is to bring it full circle. If you think about what the good sergeant read earlier about the values of Black History Month, it's really about values that are for all people. If you think about many, you know, we celebrate Martin Luther King, Black History Month, but those values are enduring values for all of us that we want to represent. And I understand the centennial, but these are timeless values that we should all strive to be, not just the century. Well, think about the next century or the century after that and the legacy you'll leave. So that's what we strive to do in the United States Army Africa, and I know here in the community you all do that, and you represent that in all your different colors and tapestry in front of me. So thanks. I don't normally talk along in these sort of sessions, but I wanted to share kind of what's on my mind. I've been here long enough to know many of you all, a lot of you all, and thanks for what you do and what you'll do in 2015. Rob?
Thank you. All right, so I don't quite have an answer to the fingerprint thing yet, but we'll get with it.
We were stalling for you.
But the staff does know they're working with 509th. They got a new computerized fingerprint system that has a software issue at the moment. 509th's working on it hard. That's a little bit of a pass the buck, but that is my office, so we'll continue to work it, and once we get it up and running and get an ETA on its fix, we will post that. So again, thanks for everyone's participation here in the InfoX. this is, again, one of those things we do to help ourselves get community awareness across the whole thing. Although I noticed we didn't have Chris Bradford here, but to talk about all the great things MWR have. We probably could have used that earlier in the session to boost our system. But there's a lot of great things. I encourage you all to go to the MWR website. There's a great calendar on there with all kinds of events. Every weekend we've got at least 2 events going on, one an adventure trip, one a kind of a cultural trip through ODR. So please, make use of everything we do have to offer here. And I know he was one of those ones that had to walk everywhere because he had no license. He didn't have a valid license because he came here from Korea and didn't have one. So he spent about 9 to 10 months, I think, walking or having his wife drive him around until he got that fixed. So that was kind of painful for him. But so if anyone needs any TTPs on that, come on, Sergeant Major.
No, I'm thinking I can have my wife drive me everywhere, is what you're saying.
That's a great one. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's all we got for today. So we'll see you all. We'll see you all next month. And thanks all for participating. Have a great day.